Have you heard yet about Future, the real estate conference by Appfolio? Appfolio has created an entire event dedicated to preparing your business for the future of technology and real estate. In San Diego on October 28th through 30th at Future, you will learn to seize the opportunity of AI and transform the performance of your business. Here's why you absolutely need to be there. Industry pioneers. Learn from 90 plus speakers, including heavyweights like Don Carpenter from Iron, Michael Akinwumi from the National Fair Housing Alliance, and Christy Fickert from RealLink. Miss out, and you'll be paying catch up all year. Epic keynotes. Hear from best-selling author Daniel Pink and three-time Olympic gold medalist Kerry Walsh Jennings. These are stories you won't want to miss. Cutting-edge sessions. Customize your agenda from over 45 sessions to dive into the latest AI trends, market forecasts, or growth strategies. There's something for everyone, including yours truly. I have the privilege of participating in 2 sessions on 2 panels, transforming the employee experience in an AI-enabled future and practical approaches for improving multifamily operations. And power networking. Connect with industry leaders and potential partners. This is the chance to build game-changing relationships. And live musical performances. See one of the most iconic R&B bands of all time, Boys II Men, perform at the breathtaking Rady Shell. Don't let your competition get ahead. Join us at Future and stay at the forefront of AI and real estate. Register now at futureconference.com. That's futureconference.com, FUTURECO.
Hello, and welcome to the next edition of Rooms with Ronald Micro Living. I'm your host, Ronald Harrington. Now, if you're just joining us, well, welcome. Where have you been? Just kidding. This is only the second edition of Micro Living. So let me tell you what this is all about. This podcast is designed to be 10 minutes or less. So you're not going to get long rants. You're not going to get, 30 minutes of content. This is for the people on the go. Because I get it. We are busy. Multifamily is busy. Now, the inaugural episode, we talked all things personal appearance and dressing for success. And I was like, well, how am I going to top that? So what I've decided to talk to you all today about is active listening. I know it sounds simple, and I know that you're probably thinking, Ronald, I listen actively. However, I have been kind of quietly observing people when I've been on the road, when I've been talking to people, when I've been calling communities, and I noticed that we have gone away from active listening. The world is not okay with silence. I'm sure that little break there probably made you a little uncomfortable. The power is in the pause, people. The power is in the pause. However, I want you to take a moment and think about what you have 2 of, right? You have 2 ears and 1 mouth. We need to be doing double the listening than we are talking. And that's not happening, okay? We feel the need to ramble on and to just keep going on and on and on and not listen to what the prospect says. And if you notice, I actually use the word active listening in the front of this because here's what's happening. Someone calls and they're looking for information. You're just going through the motions. You're not hearing what they're saying, right? You're not listening to understand. You're listening to reply. So if someone were to call to ask you about utilities, you may not realize that it's not a resident. So you start telling them they need to call this place or that place, and they need to do this and this and this. And all they really want to know is, hey, are utilities included? Do you have an average cost? We need to go back to that and really take a moment and listen to what that prospect is saying, because we might save ourselves a lot of headaches. So your phone call that might be 5 minutes right now could actually be solved in 2 minutes and you're on your way. So you're actually saving yourself time. Stop listening to respond. Really listen. Let the prospect say what they're going to need to say and then start talking. Because here's the reality of it, people. We only hear 20% of what people say. That's it, right? No more, no less. 20%. So if you're talking on top of them and they're not getting a word in, you're not doing yourself any favors. They're only hearing 20% of it. It's rambling. It all comes down to, listen. Give them clues that you're listening. Nod your head. Yes, I understand. Let them get it out and they come back and say, so, Mr. Ronald, what I'm hearing is this is what you're looking for. Is that correct? Perfect. We got it. Let's move on. If it's not, ask some qualifying questions. Let your prospect do the talking. And one of the ways you're going to active listening is by asking those open-ended questions. Ask a question and let them respond. One of my favorite questions to ask people is, what are you looking for in your new home? It's a blank slate. I can't promise I'm going to have everything for you, but what is it that if you were designing your home, would it have in your new apartment? And then pause. You don't need to go give all the information in the first 5 minutes. No, build the relationship. Get to know them. What's making them move? And really, truly hone in to, those skills of listening. Let's go back to a time where we really cared about people. We cared about what they had to say, but we really wanted to listen to understand them. We don't need to go on and on and on about everything. And then we don't have to do all the talking. Actually, we shouldn't do all the talking. We need to let them talk. What do you think about this apartment? And then let them talk. And we listen. And we watch for body language. I want you to think about your tours right now. Who's doing most of the talking? Is it you or is it your prospect? Because if it's you, you need to find a way to say what you need to say in a short, sweet, but simple way. I had a boss who once told me, be brief, be bright, be gone, right? So, say what you need to say and then kind of fade back and let them sink in. Let them say, okay, I am understanding, because they're actively listening to you. And the courtesy is that we should actively listen to them. And now there's going to be some people who just don't give you a lot. And that's okay, right? And they might be okay with silence. But we're not on the radio, right? And if you work in radio, if you work on a podcast, right? The silence, as always said, don't have silence. Because you can't see what's going on. But on a tour, dealing with a prospect, silence is okay because they might be thinking things. And if you're not talking, you can watch their body reaction of, when you start talking about something, watch how they're responding and then stop and see, do I need to elaborate? What's their body language telling me? Am I listening to what they're saying? And then answer the question. When you're in the apartment home, let them get a feel for it. Tie in your features and your benefits, and then just stop talking and get a feel for it and listen to what they're saying, because they're going to tell you a lot of information, both verbally and non-verbally, right? So, again, to recap what we just talked about, active listening, just like you all are right now, taking your time to actively listen to what I am saying. Do the same thing with your prospects. Sometimes you have to pretend that, you can't ask them a question. Just let them talk. You can't ask me a question right now on the podcast, right? So you have to just listen to me talk. And now you're absorbing it. And then you're going to respond to someone, and you might tell someone something about active listening. So we only have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. Double the amount of listening as we are talking. That's it, guys. That's our micro living edition of active listening for today, right? So look, I did it under 8 minutes for you. Tune in next time when we dive into another hot topic in multifamily, and I'm going to give you a little taste of what that is. To model or not to model. Until next time, you have been listening to Rooms with Ronald, Micro Living Edition on Active Listening. I'm your host, Ronald Harrington. And until next time, guys, happy leasing.